Officials canceled the fireworks amid surging infections and reintroduced mandatory mask wearing outdoors. Yet 300,000 people were expected on the Las Vegas Strip for a big fireworks show. Comedy actress and game show personality Betty White was dead at ABC Sports.
At 4 o'clock in late October, I sat alone in the country schoolhouse, back from the road, mid-stricken fields, and an eddy of wind blew leaves on the pane, and crooned in the flue of the cannon stove, with its door blurring the shadows, with the spectral glow of a dying fire. In an idle mood, I was running the planchette. All at once, my wrist grew limp, and my hand moved rapidly over the board, till the name of Charles Guiteau was spelled, who threatened to materialize before me. I rose and fled the room, barehanded, into the dusk, afraid of my gift. And after that, the spirits swarmed. Chaucer, Caesar, Poe, and Marlowe, Cleopatra, and Mrs. Surratt, wherever I went with messages. Mere trifling twaddle, Spoon River agreed. You talk nonsense to children, don't you? And suppose I see what you never saw, and never heard of, and have no word for. I must talk nonsense when you ask me what it is I see.
We walked the forest together, by a path of soundless moss and turf. But I could not look in your eyes, and you could not look in my eyes. For such sorrow was ours, the beginning of grey in your hair, and I but a shell of myself. And then your gift of wild roses set on the table to grace our dinner. Poor heart, how bravely you struggled to imagine and live your remembered rapture. Then my spirit drooped as the night came on, and you left me alone in my room for a while, as you did when I was a bride. Left me alone in my room for a while, as you did when I was a bride. Poor heart. And I looked in the mirror, and something said, "One should be all dead, one should be all dead, nor ever should more nights half dead." And I did it, looking there and here. Have you ever understood?
sound was the cricket's liquid tremolo. The sun went down between great drifts and distant storms, for a rising wind swept clean the sky and blew the flames of the unprotected stars.
And swayed the russet moon, hanging between the rim of the hill and the twinkling boughs of the apple orchard. You walked the shore in thought, where the throats of the waves were like whippoorwills, singing beneath the water and crying to the wash of the wind in the cedar trees, till you stood, too full for tears, by the cot, and looking up saw Jupiter tipping the spire of the great pine, and looking down saw my vacant chair, rocked by the wind on the lonely porch. Be brave, beloved.
I was among multitudes of children dancing at the foot of a mountain. A breeze blew out of the east and swept them as leaves, driving some up the slopes. Here were flying lights and mystic moons and dream music.
A cloud fell upon us. When it lifted, all was changed. I was now amid multitudes who were wrangling. Then a figure in shimmering gold, and one with a trumpet, and one with a scepter stood before me. They mocked me, and danced a rigadoon, and vanished. All was changed again.
Out of a bower of poppies, a woman bared her breasts and lifted her open mouth to mine. I kissed her. The taste of her lips was like salt. She left blood on my lips. I fell exhausted.
I arose and ascended higher, but a mist as from an iceberg clouded my steps. I was cold and in pain. Then the sun streamed on me again, and I saw the mists below me hiding all below them.
And I, bent over my staff, knew myself silhouetted against the snow. And above me was the soundless air, pierced by a cone of ice,
over which hung a solitary star.
A shudder of ecstasy, a shudder of fear ran through me. But I could not return to the slopes. Nay, I wished not to return. For the spent waves of the symphony of freedom lapped the ethereal cliffs about me. Therefore I climbed to the pinnacle. I flung away my staff. I touched that star with my outstretched hand. I vanished utterly. For the mountain delivers to infinite truth whosoever touches the star. For the spent waves of the symphony of freedom lapped the ethereal cliffs about me. Therefore I climbed to the pinnacle. I flung away my staff. I touched that star with my outstretched hand. I vanished utterly. For the mountain delivers to infinite truth whosoever touches the star.